Some people move easily through the world. They adapt quickly. They blend in without effort. They seem to know exactly how to be, what the moment requires. And then there are others, people who have always felt slightly out of step, not broken, not lost, just different. If you have ever felt like you don't quite fit into the rhythms of the world, if you have sensed that your inner life is deeper, heavier, or more complex than those around you, this video is for you, because feeling different is not always a sign of dysfunction. Often it is a sign of a rare personality structure. Many people with rare personality structures notice it early in life. As children, they may have felt older than their age, more observant, more inward. They notice emotions others ignored. They sense tension before words were spoken. They ask questions that had no simple answers. And often, they learned quickly that these traits did not always fit. They were told they were too sensitive, too serious, too quiet, or sometimes too intense. So they adapted. They learned to soften their depth, to hide their complexity, to translate themselves into something more acceptable. But the feeling never fully went away. That quiet sense of being different remained. Carl Jung understood that this sense of otherness often appears in individuals whose psyches are oriented toward depth rather than conformity. Not everyone is built to live primarily on the surface of life. Personality, in Jung's view, is not merely behavior or preference. It is a structure of consciousness, a way the psyche relates to the world, to meaning, and to itself. Some people are oriented outward, toward action, certainty, and adaptation. Others are oriented inward, toward reflection, symbolism, and psychological truth. Neither is superior, but they are not equally common. If you have a rare personality, you likely experience life internally before you experience it externally. Events don't simply happen. They register. Conversations don't just pass. They linger. Emotions don't remain on the surface. They move inward. You may find yourself processing experiences long after they occur, replaying conversations, reflecting on tone, meaning, and implication, sensing what was not said as strongly as what was. This is not overthinking. It is depth processing. Jung observed that some individuals possess a psyche that is naturally open to unconscious material, symbols, intuitions, emotions that rise from beneath conscious awareness. This openness is rare, and it comes with both gifts and challenges. Depth-oriented personalities often feel more, not because they are fragile, but because their psychological boundaries are more permeable. You absorb atmospheres. You sense emotional undercurrents. You feel shifts in energy that others miss entirely. This can make the world feel overwhelming at times. Crowded environments may drain you. Superficial conversations may exhaust you. Constant stimulation may feel intrusive rather than exciting. And yet, when you are in the right environment, quiet, meaningful, psychologically safe, something changes. Your mind opens. Your insight sharpens. Your presence deepens. Jung believed that sensitivity is not weakness. It is a form of perception. But having a rare personality often comes with a cost. Many learn early that to belong, they must adapt. They learn to tone themselves down, to hide intensity, to keep insights private. Over time, they may become socially skilled, but inwardly distant, competent, but unfulfilled, liked, but unseen. This creates a subtle inner split. The version of you that functions in the world is not the version of you that feels most alive. And this split often manifests as chronic loneliness, emotional fatigue, or a quiet sense that life lacks depth or meaning, not because life is empty, but because you are not fully present within it. Jung believed the central task of life is individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are rather than who you were conditioned to be. For rare personalities, individuation is not optional. If you remain too long in adaptation, the psyche begins to protest through anxiety, through exhaustion, through meaninglessness, through the quiet sense that something is wrong, even when everything looks fine. This is not pathology. It is a call to return to your inner nature. People with rare personalities often struggle with conventional definitions of success. Careers chosen for status may feel hollow. Relationships based on roles may feel limiting. Lifestyles built around constant productivity may feel suffocating. This does not mean you lack ambition. It means your ambition is oriented toward meaning, not accumulation. You are not motivated by applause. You are motivated by alignment. Jung believed that when outer life does not reflect inner truth, the psyche withdraws energy. You may still function, but without vitality. Every personality has a shadow. For depth-oriented individuals, the shadow often contains anger that was never expressed, needs that were postponed, boundaries that were never formed, resentment hidden beneath kindness. Sensitivity is often rewarded only when it serves others. You may have learned to be understanding at your own expense, empathic without protection, available without limits. Over time, this creates exhaustion, and exhaustion often masks anger. Jung warned that what is denied expression does not disappear. It goes underground. When ignored, it emerges as bitterness, withdrawal, or numbness. This is not a moral failing. It is a signal that balance is needed. One of the most important tasks for rare personalities is learning containment, not closing yourself off, but learning when, where, and with whom to open. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. Without them, depth becomes self-erasure. With them, depth becomes strength. You begin to realize that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Jung believed maturity involves discrimination, the ability to choose consciously rather than react unconsciously. This is also why many rare personalities are drawn to solitude. Solitude is not avoidance. It is integration. It is the space where the psyche can process, organize, and renew itself. In solitude, you reconnect with your own emotional tone, your own rhythm, your own truth. Forced socialization can feel draining. Chosen solitude feels nourishing. Jung himself valued solitude deeply, believing that without time alone, the psyche becomes fragmented. One of the most painful beliefs rare personalities carry is the idea that they must become more normal to be whole, more social, more driven, more detached, more efficient. But Jung believed psychological health does not come from conformity. It comes from coherence, from living in alignment with your inner structure. You are not here to dilute yourself, to fit the world. You are here to shape a life that can hold your depth. Over time, when you begin to live in alignment, something subtle but powerful changes. You stop trying to be understood by everyone. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop seeking validation. For your depth, you become quieter, but more grounded, more selective, but more genuine, less reactive, but more present. Your personality does not disappear. It stabilizes. Jung believed individuation leads to inner authority, not dominance, but self-trust. You begin to trust your perceptions, your pacing, your needs. From this place, connection changes. You may have fewer relationships, but they are deeper. You may speak less, but with more meaning. You may walk alone at times, but not lost. If you have always felt different, Do not rush to correct it. Not every difference is a defect. Some differences are invitations. Invitations to live more consciously, to honor depth over noise, to choose meaning over approval. You have a rare personality, not because you are superior, but because you are oriented toward a different layer of life. And when you learn to live from that layer, the world does not need to understand you completely. You only need to be true, and that is enough. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of what is truly yours.